How's it going, YouTube family? The other day, bad weather forced me to leave you hanging when I found this completely deserted village. Because it's a reflection of the abandonment we're experiencing in all the rural villages in most parts of Spain and Asturias, which is where I record in case some of you don't know me. And I wanted to tell you that today I'm going to show you something special that really caught my attention here, in this place where I am. And I wanted to interview Benigna, a 92-year-old lady I met. She grew up in a remote mountain hamlet quite far from here and ended up coming to live here because she got married. And she knows quite a bit about the history of why things ended up like this. And well, it's always interesting to interview these older people because they're like real-time machines and I learn a lot from them. So, if you want to stay and watch this video, which I think is going to be quite interesting, I'll leave my social media links around here as always in case you want to keep up with content that I don't upload here on YouTube. And let's go learn about this story. I'm going to start from the highest part of the village and go down to the lowest part, showing you all the areas that really caught my attention. Benigna can't join me for the walk because her mobility is limited. She uses crutches and I don't want to force her to walk here. I'll interview her at her house instead. And the first thing I want to show you well is what we find as soon as we enter the village from the upper area. We have this little house here and you can see what it's like. No one has lived here for many years. They probably use it for livestock because the fences were put up not long ago. It had an Oreo right here next to it. The lower area was likely living space with the Oreo upstairs. These more modern renovations aren't typical. But look at this thing. The first thing that caught my attention that I really like was that stone up there which has something written on it. I'm not really sure what it says, but it has a date, like 1800, 1807 or something like that. I wish we could decipher it to get a bit of information about this place, because they used to put, well, some information, right? Like who lived here or who built the house. Let's keep going down the village path, which is completely paved with these old stones. And here we would arrive at the street where the intro to the video was filmed. And I do know a bit about it because a man I met who was going up to take care of the livestock told me some details about a little house around here. So I'll be able to tell you something. And then we'll talk with Benigna and we'll talk a little more in general. This place we have here, which is now abandoned, used to be an old bar. The gentleman told me that they used to throw amazing parties here and this is what it looks like today. He said seeing it this way made him sad. Here we would be entering the upper area of the village because it has two neighborhoods. In the lower neighborhood there are a few more elderly people living, but they're all already quite old. This must have been a granary. This tiny house amuses me because it's so narrow. And this image really struck me the last time I came, seeing so many walls and so much silence on the same street. Here's a Oreo, which probably used to have its access up there. That's why the entrance is there, but now there's no way to get up to it. Underneath, there was a stable. And here, this little house we've seen that's so narrow, look at this interesting thing about it too. You can read what it says there, right? Tavern. So there was also a tavern here. And here we can actually read what it says. It says year 1892. No more and no less. Impressive to think that this used to be the village tavern. Well, I think this one was probably newer than that one. That's something I didn't ask him, but probably. But still seeing the little sign written there, how impressive. It amazes me. Look, here we will actually be able to see a little bit of what was there, because the door is open. And I don't think this was an oven area or anything, but I am seeing here, look, a very old stone trough with moss on it and all, from all the dampness. Looks like they stored firewood here. Because of everything that's stored here. Yeah, there's no oven. And up here, well, this was the granary. Maybe if I squeeze through here, I can stick the camera in there and we can see a little bit of what's inside. Let's see. I'm carefully putting the camera through that small hole. I can't see it. I'll see it in editing. But you get the idea? Although I don't think that's the granary itself. I mean, the entrance, the top part of the horio, you know? It's more about the space that was left between the horio and this stable. I'm not sure if you've seen anything. I'll have to see it later. We're going to head out. Thank you. There was once a tiny house here. Keep in mind that in the past, houses, well, there were very poor people in the villages, and this was a house, even if you can't imagine it nowadays and think, what is this here? Things a little bit bigger. Someone actually lived here back in the day. If we keep going down, we'll find another one. You can see what the door looks like. He likely had the bread oven here. Down here, he probably had the stable. I don't know if we can see or record it. Do you see? That was the stable. And as I said, walking through these streets in this silence and thinking that all of this is deserted. Continuing along here, we're going to find a little house that some people bought recently. I think they were from Miras or somewhere like that. That's what this gentleman told me. Yes, the family does come from time to spend the weekend and things like that. But right now, as you can see, the sadness of seeing this without hearing a single voice, without being able to talk to anyone. This gentleman, well, he didn't want to appear in the interview, and I'm not going to catch him off guard either. And look at what a beautiful area we're going to find here. Look at this wash house, it's like a dream. And I left the car there, since this is a path that leads to the nearest road. And look at this place, it's just idyllic. Here probably the women used to come to wash clothes, since this is the wash house. And here to fetch water. The animals would likely drink here. This is the watering trough. Villagers would come here to get water for themselves. And here there's something written, but it's very hard to read because it's very worn out. And I can't figure out what it says. Honestly, it's complicated. Wetting it sometimes helps you see it better. Here it says, from the neighborhood. But I can't do it there. Let's see, this is a little trick to... Look, we're starting to understand something. I think we'll be able to figure out what it says, including the date. I think it says Social Union of the Neighborhood Residents, 1913. Yes, that's what it says. Amazing. 1913, the water is nice and cool. It's cold, cold, cold. It's incredible considering how hot it is. There are more abandoned houses over there, and going down there are many more. So I'm going to continue this way and show you a little more. We're heading down to the area where there are already some more neighbors who come for the weekend. But we find little houses like the one you're seeing there, which is a shame, with its granary and everything. Check out this granary's view. And this one is completely abandoned. In fact, I think the roof already looks pretty bad. Look, all the farming machinery over there, buried. Another little house here, very beautiful, traditional. What a shame. I'd be happy with a small house like this. Plus, they don't even sell, and the wash house is outside and all. Either they're not for sale or they ask for outrageous prices. This is an Oreo, also with a building underneath with a garage. I think we'll be able to take a look here. Look at the state of the kitchen. Mother of God, it's been years since anyone has come around here. It's impressive to see this. Let's keep going down. Another little house full of cobwebs. Look. Who knows how long it's been closed? Another one here. No, this is too much, man. It's too much, too much, too much. Our villages are becoming completely empty. Look, there are cows around here. That's the only thing still being done in these villages. Livestock farming, people come here just for this. To take care of the cows. What's up, pretty girl? The poor thing is covered in flies. Well, that's how our villages are ending up. It's impressive. I've been here for a while now, and I haven't seen anyone. And now on top of that, it's late because it's lunchtime. I'm going to keep going down this way. I want to show you another little house that's down here. It's going to impress you. Another couple of them. Well, I'm already getting to the houses I want to show you. They're right around here. Hey, look at what I just noticed. I think these are laurel berries. Look how beautiful they are. These were used in cooking. And surely they were used for a lot of other things too. Today, knowledge like this is fading. If anyone knows other uses beyond cooking, let me know. I hope I'm correct. I think they're laurel berries. Let me know, as there are many experts on this. Look at how beautiful this tree is. There are some here. Mother Earth gives us so many things. And I know this one is going to impress you a lot because of its size. I have to tell you, it made me really sad to see the situation it's in. Over here, there's a slightly smaller one. I can't quite tell if it was a cabin or a little house. Keep in mind that back in the day, there were very poor people in the villages. Like I was saying, maybe what looks like a stable today was actually lived in by people. There is one detail that really catches my attention. It's that little hole that the doors have there. I'm not really sure what it was used for. If anyone could tell me, I would be very grateful. I doubt a chicken could fit through there. Here we have a window. Maybe we can take a look through it to see what this stable was for, what it was used for. And I think it was a pigsty for the pigs. They must have raised a lot, given how many there were. And nowadays it's unused. Upstairs they probably stored hay. And this house, it really must have been huge. I don't know how many people lived here. But look at all this here. And all of this. I think it could even be restored. This one is still in a pretty acceptable condition. It also had an Oreo, or rather a Panera, because it looks quite elongated. Down here, I imagine they would keep cows, because of what that sign says there. It says Alpha Laval. I think they had dairy cows. Just like up in the houses we've been looking at. Well, a bunch of agricultural machinery from that rural Asturias. That today is no longer of interest. So it's just lying around here. There's also a piece of an old cart over there. What a shame. There would have been some kind of garage here. I'm not sure we'll see anything. Look at the locks. No one's been here in a long time. I don't think we can see much here. No, there's a basin and no, it's empty. Let's go up this staircase, super run down. Let's see what was here, because I didn't look the last time I was here. I didn't look here. It was already very late. Look, it has a very beautiful courtyard with its own laundry sink and everything. I imagine this doesn't have water anymore. Yes, look, it has water. That's amazing. And this one is older. This one doesn't work. I mean, it must have a tank there in case the water supply didn't bring enough one day. Look, it has another spout. Let's try it. Whoa, it's stuck. And you can see how the entrance is. The entrance is in pretty bad shape. The water has really affected it here. And it's in pretty bad condition. It's been a while since anyone came here. Look at the cobwebs. And look at the floor. Nothing has been vandalized here since the houses are well hidden. My intention is for it to stay that way, since many of you say it doesn't make sense that I want these villages repopulated but don't name them. I feel responsible for the mostly elderly residents and the properties here, ensuring they aren't vandalized due to their isolation. And I think that if someone wants a house or a village, they actively look for it, they visit places, talk to people, ask around, and find a place, which is what I'm doing. I never ask anyone, to tell me where is this place, where is that place. I go and look for it myself. And I think that's the most consistent way to try to avoid overcrowding. Because as a result of these videos, a lot of people watch them. And it's not my intention for everyone to go to the same place. Asturias is large, but so is the world. You don't have to visit Asturias. Many beautiful rural areas in northern Spain also need repopulation. It's just a matter of looking. It's that simple. That's why I don't mention the locations. I hope you understand me. And that you respect it, above all, because that's all I ask. It's for the sake of the elderly, and especially because I know that these kinds of places are very easy to vandalize. And not everyone is as good as those of you who ask me. There are people who have very bad intentions. I'm going to go up this way. We won't be able to reach the Horio because there's a beehive. See, it fell too since the box is lying there. All the bees must have come here. So we won't be able to go up because I'm also allergic and I have to be very careful. I've only been stung once, but it got really bad, and the doctor already told me to be very careful because the second time I might have a pretty strong reaction. Well, I'm going to go around here to see the back of this little house, which only had one window, which is what's curious. It only had this little window here. And this kind of garage or, well, storage place, where they put wood and, well, stored little things. And I've seen around here down this alley that there's another building back here, but I'm not really sure what this could be. Let's see if anyone could tell me what this could be. It looks like, I don't know, a cistern, or I really don't know, because with these things open here, it doesn't make much sense. But the way the walls are rounded like this, I don't know, I'm pretty ignorant about this. It appears to be a modern structure, clearly not a cistern since it wouldn't have this access. So if someone can tell me what this could be, I would be eternally grateful. This was probably the way down to some plots. And I won't go on much longer. Let's go see Benigna and let her tell us what's going on. What's happening that's causing such a beautiful village to end up completely abandoned, and only older people, with hardly any young people wanting to come here? I just got to Benigna's house and I think she's expecting me since I told her. Hello, Benigna, hello?
Good afternoon, how are you?
I'm good, and you?
Oh, pretty good.
You're in heaven here.
But older than yesterday.
You're lucky to be in the shade. Today was so hot.
Here in my house, Not everyone can brag about having this palace in a village.
No, I see that. Was this a small shop before?
A shop, a store, and bar.
It's very nice. You still have the scale and everything. Yes, yes, yes. Wait, let me put a mic on you first so you can be heard well. Give me a second. I'll put a mic on you here.
Very good.
It's going to sound much better. Okay. Because I want to ask you something. You, living in this little village up above, we're not going to say the name to keep it private because there are very few people.
A neighborhood.
Yes, a neighborhood in the town that really impressed me. What's happening in the towns, Benigna? Why are they ending up like this with no young people left?
Well, you see, ever since they started taking away our school, the kids went to other schools, and the parents followed them, followed right after them, to help them study, to give them a better life than we had. The city seemed really good, kind of deceiving. The town, we're dying off and getting older, and I don't know what's happening. There are no children, no young people. The towns aren't surviving. There aren't enough births. But of course, the city has been doing very well until now. Since it's been so good, let's see. Everyone took the opportunity to leave. Afterwards, when the children left, the road opened up, everyone had a car. I'm leaving, I'm staying. Dad, Mom, my grandparents, they all passed away. If I can, I leave the village to live better.
That partly killed the village. Everyone left for the city seeking a better life. Back then it wasn't hard, was it? Life in these villages. How old are you, Benigna? 90, Benigna.
92 and a half.
92. Where were you born?
Very close to Luarca, in a little village, a mountain hamlet because you don't deny where you're from, Argomoso. Very close, it belonged to the parish of Canero. My father sent me up to the mountains with the sheep, so I ended up unconfirmed because the teacher took all the school children from Argomoso to Canero to be confirmed. But of course, my father had sheep and cows up in Palmonte, and I was left unconfirmed. I'll die without that sacrament.
Or are you from a very small village? Well, Abranya, really, the name says it, right? It's the house of the summer shepherds, right? More or less. Not really summer.
All year round in winter. I used to sleep in the mountains, and when it got dark, if no one came looking for me, I'd still be there asleep at daybreak, because I was raised along with my siblings in the mountains. That's why they say I'm doing well now, because I grew up with nature, the mountains and the countryside. It's very healthy. Let's see, I lived as long as I could, going to the orchard until I was 90, because the orchard gives life, besides the fact that it sustains us. Me, very little, I ate what I produced. Let's see, who, even the doctor when I go for tests says, but Benigna, what do you eat? Me, almost only what I produce. I see, if only. She's exempt from getting tests. I don't take pills. With this, I want to tell you that the countryside, if we knew how to take advantage of it, is very expensive, but it's also what gives the best flavor. If we could realize that now my granddaughters are already living on artificial food.
Yeah, it's just that what we eat right now doesn't even have any flavor. It has nothing. And people, I don't know how they don't realize it. When I taste the tomatoes you grow here in the countryside and compare them to the ones I buy when I go down to the town or the city.
And the lettuce and everything, and it's all sprayed with chemicals and everything. There's a big difference, but of course, for so many people in the city and in the towns, it has to be on a large scale. And spraying with chemicals and the tractors, because here in the countryside, well, what I do works for us. I used to work there, let's say, on a very large piece of land. There's corn, there are fava beans, green beans, onions, peas. It was a year for harvesting green peas. Yes.
You get everything here. Yes, everything. Because there are some areas in Asturias where that's not usually the case. The only thing that used to stain us were the tomatoes, but now there are some that don't stain. So you manage. But you have everything.
If you don't plant, you don't harvest. My chickens don't eat feed. They eat corn, wheat bran, and softened bread and corn flour. Not feed. My pigs don't eat feed.
You have pigs too? Really big ones.
They already weigh more than 150 kilos each. When I go to slaughter them in December, there'll be over 200. How's that chorizo, that blood sausage?
It's nothing like the industrial food we eat out there.
You don't know what blood sausage is, right?
It's been a long time since I've had homemade blood sausage, to be honest. I'll tell you the truth. But that's because there's very little of it. There are only a few people who make it.
I have some, and I'll let you try it. Just give it a quick boil, and you can put it in a sandwich.
St. Martin's Day, or Pig Slaughter Day, is one of those dates that is slowly disappearing from our calendar. Fewer and fewer families get together on these dates. Several factors such as a change in mindset, convenience, and veterinary regulations, among many others, are causing this tradition to soon become just a memory.
Benigna, do you feel sad thinking that when you're gone, and the other older people who live here in the village, since everyone here is already elderly, when you're all gone, do you feel sad thinking that the village will be completely finished, right?
It's all over, and what a shame about the houses. I feel so much sadness for the village because it gave me life and it fed me. But I feel very sad about my house. I tell my children, open the house, air it out, come here, eat like we do now, and take care of it, because I come from the cemetery and sweep the porch. You have to take care of this house. It took a lot of work to build it. The village, seeing the houses and the land, it makes you feel so sad. And seeing the people you knew, because, well, back then, some of us would get together. Tomorrow we're going to gather firewood. Let's go, with the horse. We would go 4, 5, 6, or 7 of us. Well, it was a party. That's it.
And to think about the silence in those streets right now, because I walked through them and the silence impressed me.
Yes, at night.
And what you mentioned, because it's not just the silence, it's seeing those houses, like you said, the effort it took those people to build them and to see them the way they are today, that breaks my heart.
When I see that they were only around 60 years old or a little more, and they died, Dad and Mom, you know, both mother and daughter, they make sure to say, I go once a month. You know, if they have a brother or sister, on a certain day we go have lunch at home. And no, they don't do it. They don't do it because, I don't know, it feels too small for them. I don't know. They lost their love and their spirit for this, and it shouldn't be lost because you never know what you might need from your own home. No one kicks you out, and somewhere else, if you don't pay the rent, they evict you.
Here you live off the land. The earth and forest provide almost everything.
But here, in small plots, a potato, a collard greens, a lettuce, a tomato, a pepper, green beans, all of that, without effort, in a garden as small as this house. And you have it, you really do. It may not seem like it, but go to the market and try to bring it.
Yes, at the market, though it's very expensive.
Everything's so expensive, that's true.
Everything is really expensive. But what you grow yourself isn't.
When the coronavirus started, we couldn't get potatoes. They were either bad or unavailable due to the virus. Or it was before they banned us from planting potatoes there for 3 years. What kind of disease could there have been? What could it have been?
And did that ever happen when you were little?
No, it happened a few years ago.
Doesn't it seem strange to you that at your age, 92 years old, it never happened before and now it does?
The ones from the garden, the ones you buy when you run out of your own, they come from far away. Hey, it's just that I'm someone who likes a boiled potato with a drop of oil, or a boiled potato with a sprinkle of salt. That's enough food for me. I'm all about boiled potatoes and soups and stews. But there's a difference as big as night and day. No, we don't know how to appreciate what we have in the village, I'm telling you. We don't know how to appreciate it because we should know how to eat, and we don't. Nowadays, people eat very artificially. I'll start with my granddaughters. Well, they say I'm very old-fashioned.
They never really experienced it. I can share my opinion since I don't live in your generation. I live between your generation and the two that came after it, because you're already 90 and 92 years old. But I was able to get a little taste of what life in the village was like, of how people used to eat.
And you go around the world, man.
Yes, mainly because I also tried that food from before.
Oh my God.
which isn't there anymore. Look, then,
When you taste it, a pot with chorizo, blood sausage, and pork fat, and a little bit with a pot, the greens from the garden, the potatoes from the garden, and the beans from the garden. Look, the standing we had here in the village came from the Eastport Bar in Luarca, from the Eastport Bar. When they came, the owner came several times to eat here, and sometimes he brought 2, sometimes 3, sometimes 4, up to 5 or 6. It had to be that way. Stew with homemade compango, rice pudding, and a stuffed bread roll. That was the menu.
that's a typical Asturian meal, right? Because there are a lot of people watching us who aren't from here, who, well, are descendants of Asturians but live in Latin America, in Cuba, Argentina, Chile. Many people who watch us are from those countries because they haven't been able to come back. What would you say to those people who are watching us with so much nostalgia, who are seeing the towns their parents and grandparents talked about, the ones they missed so much when they crossed the ocean to look for a better life? What would you say to those people who want to return but can't?
To live. I'm not surprised they feel sad, because the best things, the good things about living here stayed here. That's something they should remember for as long as they live. And they should know that their parents and grandparents lived through that. The world changed, and of course things moved forward. But regarding health, things worsened, yes.
Well, Benigna, just to wrap up the video and not keep you much longer because I know you have things to do and I also have to get back home, which is a bit of a trip, I want to ask you something. Do you encourage young people to come to the villages?
Yes, I do encourage them, yes. Not to live here with all the bad habits there are today, but yes, to live very well. You take a nap out there in the countryside wherever you want. You pick a pear, you pick an apple, a peach, you see, it's freedom. A sense of peace. Let's see, who would mess with me here?
No one.
Felipe VI can't eat what I do. A home-raised chicken, a homemade steak. In the village, people eat very healthy, very well, and there's a lot of peace. But the village was wild. You could never forget that. Never.
So remember that message and never forget the village because it's really sad, honestly. If anyone watching me has a house in the village or is thinking about going to the villages, listen to this lady. That's where there's peace, relaxation, good food, and life is great. Don't let the system fool you, because what it wants is for all of us to be in the cities, locked up there, just being a number and doing whatever jobs they want. And well, those who understand know what I'm talking about. So, as I said, Benigna, I really appreciate the interview and that you explained everything to me. You told me this because you're one of the last who remembers these places and can explain them calmly. You're heading to Ferguito.
You pick an apple, a pear, a peach, anything. Oh, a garden plot, I mean everything.
She's happy here, you can see it, right? She's happy. So I'm going to stop the video here. I'm really grateful that you're always there supporting me and watching the videos because you help me keep growing and bring you stories like these. And as always, I'll leave my social media links around here in case you want to stay a bit more up to date with content that I don't upload here on YouTube. And that's it, I'll see you in the next video.
Come to the village.
You heard it already?
Don't forget it or you'll regret it.